Hello everybody and welcome back. A few weeks ago I was looking at a list of Allure's 2022 Best in Beauty Awards and I wanted to try out the products for myself, so I placed a few orders and here we are. So there's a good mix of products I haven't tried and some that I'm in agreement with Allure on. So before we get into this video, I'd love for you to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started. So starting off with foundations, they had 3. So I didn't purchase every single thing on the list here because I only have one face. So starting off with their favorite powder foundation, it was the Bare Minerals Bare Pro 16 Hour Wear Perfecting Powder Foundation. I decided to skip on that because I'm not a huge fan of powder foundations, but I did pick up their favorite stick foundation, which was the Westman Atelier Vital Skin Foundation Stick. This was pricey, but I've been meaning to try it. So today's the day. And their favorite liquid foundation was the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation, which I already had in my collection, but I'm going to be trying out the Westman Atelier one. I got the shade Atelier 3, which looks like it may be a little dark. I don't know if I want to swipe this on because I believe this is quite full coverage, so I'm going to apply it like I would a cream blush or bronzer, and I'm just going to put some in the palm of my hand just to get it all nice and melty. And I'm going to be using my BK Beauty 101 brush to apply, and I'm just going to start buffing that into my skin. This way I get better control with the product as well, because sometimes sticks are so crazy pigmented that most of the time that you're blending them out, you're kind of trying to make them look like skin again. I think this is going to be a good way to do it. I think it's not as full coverage as I was thinking, so I'm kind of curious to do little dotties. This seems to be super creamy. Usually with foundation sticks, I find them to be waxy and kind of stiff, and it takes them a while to blend out. This one seems like it's going on like a breeze. I feel more confident with this one, so I think I would be okay with just applying it directly to my face. I desperately need a lip balm break. I'm just using my nipple cream, this one. I think that this foundation looks lovely. It doesn't blend out as quickly as a liquid foundation would still, but for a stick foundation, it blends out very effortlessly. And I feel like it gives a nice smoothing effect to my skin. And the finish of it is beautiful as well. It's glowy, but diffused at the same time, like a velvet texture. Just going to take my beauty blender just in case there are any rogue brush streaks. Okay. Now let's move on to concealer. And their best under eye concealer went to the Lancôme All Over Concealer. I couldn't agree more. This is such a beautiful concealer under the eye. It has a lot of coverage and a very nice matte, like self-setting texture. I'm going in with the shade 250 Warm Bisque. This is one of my all-time favorite products. So I was really excited to see it on the list here. It's one of the most effortless concealers to work with, and it blurs your under eyes. It just does the most while feeling like nothing, because it has such a thin consistency, which is my favorite quality that this concealer possesses. And their best concealer for blemishes was the Maybelline Superstay Activewear Concealer. My local drugstore didn't have this, so I just decided to go with this one. I'm going to further correct my face with this as well. I think this one's really great at correcting blemishes. It has a really nice matte texture, so it's not going to bring extra tension to that area, and it has so much coverage. I fumbled the bag on the next step. I ordered the wrong setting powder. Their favorite pressed setting powder was the Laura Mercier Pressed Setting Powder, and I picked up the Laura Mercier Secret Blurring Powder for under eyes. So my bad on that one. Their favorite loose powder was the NARS Light Reflecting Loose Setting Powder, which I just recently decluttered. I don't really like that one. I find it to be way too dehydrating. Although it did a really great job at blurring, I'll give it that. It was just uncomfortable on my face and it just took away too much. Yeah, fumbled the bag on this category, and I don't think the correct powder is going to arrive on time because I am pre-filming. I'm leaving in a couple days, so I failed. I'm so sorry. But I'm going to give this one a shot. I got these really cute things from Huda Beauty like 20 minutes ago. They sent this PR package full of little powder puffs, and look at this one for the under eye. How fun is that? And they also have some bigger versions as well. So I think this is going to be awesome for this step. And it comes with quite a few. It comes with 4 in the little set for these mini guys. These are bringing me back to makeup school. I would work with a powder puff all the time. I don't know why I never brought that into my own routine. I would do it on my clients all the time. This is so funny, but I like that process. It suddenly got super windy, if you can hear that. Don't yell at me, it's Mother Nature. Okay, so now moving on to bronzer. Let's see, I believe there was quite a few on the list. Bronzer and contour. So best powder bronzer went to the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Fresh Wear 24-hour wear bronzer, this one right here, which I do really enjoy. Their favorite cream bronzer was the Chanel Les Beige Healthy Glow Bronzing Cream. I've tried that one. I did not like the undertone of it, so I didn't want to pick that up again. Their favorite bronzing stick is the one from Makeup by Mario, and their favorite liquid bronzer was the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand. Many things to choose from here. What combo do I want to do? I'm not going to be going in with this one because it is violently expired. It's super separated in here. So I'm going to do a combination of these two maybe. Starting off with the cream from Makeup by Mario. I'm using the shade Light Medium. This is a product I already had in my collection and I adore this one. Completely agree with you on this one, Allure. It blends out so flawlessly, but it gives like a diffused look and it has a super matte texture, which is surprising for a cream, but it's not so matte to the point where it's going to stay stuck. It still remains really creamy and easy to blend. And these ones have a good amount of pigment. Like as you can see, it's depositing quite a bit of definition, but it's nothing too crazy, like it's manageable. So these are some of the best bronzing sticks on the market, I would say. And this L'Oreal bronzer is really good. I wouldn't say it's my like all-time favorite powder bronzer, but it is just like a nice, simple matte powder bronzer. There's no bells or whistles, just simple and good. It's very pigmented though, and I'm using this on top of that bronzer, so it's going to be a little intense. Okay, I'm going to go in with a nice soft touch of that to enhance. I like the undertones of the L'Oreal bronzers a lot because they don't lean too red or orange or yellow. They're just a perfect mix of all of them. So they look pretty neutral on your skin. They just add that perfect amount of warmth that doesn't look cheap or anything. It's just it looks very high end. So yeah, it is a really good powder bronzer. So now moving on to highlighter. They had a few. Their favorite liquid highlighter was the Milk Makeup Bionic Glow. This is a product that I love every time I use it, but I completely forget about it after I'm done. It's not one of those products that stay stuck in my mind, so I'm excited to revisit it. Their favorite powder highlight was the Deck of Scarlet Mirror Glaze Highlighting Trio, which looks like it comes with 3 different formulas, so it's not very powdery. Those are their 2 favorite highlighters. So I'm opting for the Milk Makeup highlighter in the shade Virtual, and I'm going to apply that with my fingertip. This has a very glazy texture. It's very gloss-like, and it feels like that going on. It has a very sheer glow, but not so sheer to the point that it's not going to do anything. It's not one of those money-snatching products. It gives like a gym glow effect to your cheeks. It gives like a Pilates glow. Although when I do Pilates, I am more than glowing. I always underestimate how hard Pilates is. Cute, very cute. Now moving on to blush. They had quite a few favorites, which I relate with them on that. So their favorite powder blush was the One Size Cheek Clapper 3D Blush Trio. I didn't pick that one up, which looks really cute. I don't know if I saw this at the time of purchasing. This looks really up my alley. It's kind of like the Patrick Tub, but with a third. Kind of down for it. Next up, their favorite cream was the Bloom Effects Tulip Tint Lip and Cheek Balm. I've never heard of this brand, but it looks cute. Kind of looks like a Glossier cloud paint kind of vibe. It's in like a little paint tube. It's really cute. Next up, their favorite blush stick were the Huda Beauty Cheeky Tint Cream Blush Sticks, which love those. And their favorite liquid blush is no other than the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Liquid Blushes. Are we surprised? I just held both products and I'm getting a better vibe from the Rare Beauty blush. So I'm taking the shade Believe. I think this is going to suit the eyeshadow palette I'm going to be using better. And I just took a little dot of that in my palm, really working it into this brush. This is a brush from Sydney Grace. It doesn't have a number, but it's kind of like a foundation brush. Just as a side note, I know they didn't put this under eye powder on their list, but I don't really like it. I think my under eyes look bad and they're acting as if I didn't set my concealer. It's weird. Moving on to brows, they had a few things. So first for pencil, they really liked the Benefit Cosmetics Gimme Brow and Volumizing Pencil. I tried this out a few times. I really do not like this pencil. I feel like it adds way too much to my brows. It's hard to control and I felt like I constantly had to sharpen it. I didn't really like it. So I'm going to opt for my own brow pencil. This is my Melt Cosmetics Perfectionist Brow Pencil in the shade Auburn. I really like this pencil. It's very similar to the Kosas brow product. It's a very tiny triangle, but I enjoy this color so much more than the auburn that Kosas offers. It's actually like a true auburn, whereas the Kosas one is a bit orange. Now they had two brow gels, one tinted and one clear. Their favorite tinted was the Lawless Beauty brow gel. I wanted to try this one out, but they didn't have that many shades and I don't think they would work for my red hair, so I decided to pass on that. But their favorite clear brow gel is none other but the e.l.f. Brow Lift. And I haven't used this in a minute, so let's see how this goes. Oh my god. Maybe my lid wasn't tight or something. Like what happened? It looks dried. What's going on? Is that mold? That's mold. And I just touched it. All right. Yeah, I thought it was just going to be like a dry top, but it's like, it's a little bit, it's fuzzy. Okay, I won't be using this. Just kidding, guys. So now moving on to eyes, they have a few fun things on here. So I'm going to share the products that I have. I purchased this Kulfi Underlined eyeliner, which I've been meaning to try out this brand, so I'm excited to see how this goes. It's a nice thickness. That's nice. I purchased this in the shade Cheeky Chiku. It's like a nice, beautiful brown. Ooh, pretty good smudgeability there. They also had the Stila Stay All Day liners on here, which these are quite old. These have been around. I'm kind of surprised to see these on here, but I already had a brown and a black in my collection. I also purchased two of the Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Eyeshadow Sticks. I got the shades Bark and Taupe. I kind of wanted these again because of that TikToker I've been loving so much. I don't know what her account name is off the top of my head. I think her name is Claire. I'm so bad with names, it's awful. But those look lovely. This is Taupe and this is Bark. And lastly, they had a few eyeshadow palettes on their list, but this one caught my eye. This used to be my favorite eyeshadow palette. I hit pan on so many of the shades, but this is the Tartelette in Bloom palette. I'm kind of surprised to see this on this list because this is an old one, but nonetheless, super excited about it. And as you know, Tarte is like my #1 favorite brand. I feature them all the time. Every single product of theirs is my favorite and I recommend fully. Just trying to get on the next tripping with Tarte trip. I want to go to Dubai. Teasing you guys, but genuinely very excited to have this back in my collection. I purchased this before the trip. Okay. So I'm gonna try to think up a look that I can incorporate most of these things in, and I'll be right back. Okay, this is the eye we're doing. It's a very heavy brown smoky eye. So I'm first going to start off with my Bobbi Brown sticks. I'm taking the shade Taupe. So see where this shadow is on my eye? I'm going to kind of follow that, and I'm going to shove this stick and I'm shoving this stick in that socket, drawing it outwards, and I'm putting some on my outer corner as well. Now I'm going to take this fluffy brush. This is an eye naughty blender from Huda Beauty, and I'm just going to start blending that out. I know I've tried these in the past, but they weren't a favorite, but I believe they reformulated them since that last time. I'm just taking my sponge with a little concealer just to soften that because that got a little intense. I put too much. I went in with too much, but that's okay. So now I'm taking the darker of the two in the shade Bark. And I'm just going to dot some on the outer corner just to softly deepen that. And with that same brush, circular motions to blend. Now I'm switching to that Kulfi eyeliner, and I'm not sure if I super love this formula. I find it to be a little bit crumbly and it doesn't last a long time in the waterline. Like, I've gone over it in my waterline quite a few times. But yeah, that's where I'm going to put this now. And I'm just going to blend the edge of my lashes out so it doesn't stay crumbly like that. And with that same pencil, I'm going to draw it outwards, following that angle. And I'm taking this Glisten number F1 brush to start blending. And you kind of have to work quickly with these products because you don't want them to set up on you. But I'm just going to blend this out, smoke it, but remain in this general area. I'm taking a flat brush with some concealer just to clean up the bottom line. And with that brush, this is the F1, I'm taking some of that Bobbi Brown Bark shadow, just lightly. I put some on the back of my hand, just lightly getting some, and I'm going to exaggerate this line. Now I'm taking my Tarte palette, and I'm going to first take the shade Rebel, and I'm going to start putting that on the outer corner. This is a Smith 233, by the way. And I'm taking some of the darkest shade there in that third row. Now I'm taking the shade Leader just to deepen that up. And before we add some shimmers and the highlighting colors, I'm taking some of that shade Bark, again, with this Glisten number 2 brush. It's a very tiny, tiny brush. And I'm just grabbing it like so. And I'm going to kind of go as close to my lash line. And now we're going to use some highlighting powders. So I'm going to take a mixture of these two light shades. On that flat brush, I cleaned up the outer corner, and I'm going to exaggerate this right here, just setting the inner corner. I don't want it to be so drastic, but just a little bit. Now with my finger, I'm taking Funny Girl, which is the lightest shimmer shade. This is the shade I completely finished in my first palette. I loved this color. And then I'm transitioning into Firecracker. And I just softly blended those together. And then to incorporate the last thing I have here, I'm taking the Stila liner in brown, and I'm just going to exaggerate a little liner over here. And before that sets down all the way, I'm taking that F1 brush with a bit of the shade Activist from this palette. So this one right here, it's like this very deep brown. I'm gonna smudge that out or set it. Putting another layer of this in my waterline because I think it's fading away. I'm not sure if I really like this liner. It's not very good. Smudging a little bit of that Rebel shade. And now it's time for mascara. And they had quite a few on their list here. I'll read them out. First one being the Cali Ray Hell or High Water Volumizing Tubing Mascara. I recently decluttered it because it was just too old for mascara, but love that one. I am considering repurchasing it because I feel like I miss it. The next one is the L'Oreal Paris Voluminous Balm Mascara. I tried this one. It was a smudgy mess on me, so I didn't want to repurchase it. Next, we have the REM from Ariana Grande. I can't get a hold of this brand. I don't think they ship to Canada yet, but yeah, can't get that one. They had the Clinique High Impact Zero Gravity Mascara, which is on the way here. I'm going to be doing a full face of Clinique soon, so I'll try that one out then. And then we have one of my favorites, the MAC Stack Mascara, and I cannot agree more with them. This is one of the best mascaras. So I'm just going to give my lashes a good squeezing. I'm using my Shu Uemura lash curler as always. And then MAC Stack. My favorite one is the Mega wand. I prefer it over the Micro. The Micro one doesn't build as fast. The color is just so black and it's so dramatic. I just adore it. So here are the eyes. I really like them. I like this inner corner straight thing. I feel like it adds like a tiger vibe or something. Or maybe a lion, maybe a more lioness. Yeah, I dig it. I don't think I've ever done that. So now let's move on to lips. So on their list, they had the Guerlain Kiss Kiss Be Glow lipsticks. I decided to not pick this up because I thought they looked too sheer for like the amount of money. They were really expensive for how sheer they were, so I bypassed those. They also had the Dior Addict Refillable Shine lipsticks. They were sold out of the shade I would be interested in, so I didn't pick up those either. They're still on my list. They're my favorites list on Sephora. If they come back, I'm gonna snatch them up. I want to try that. They also had the Armani Beauty Lip Power Longwear Vivid Lip Color lipsticks. The Sunny's Face Fluffy Matte seems really interesting. Their favorite liquid lipstick was the Pound Cake Cake Batter, which I have never heard about this brand, but I don't enjoy liquid lipsticks, so I decided to skip out on it. The Fenty Beauty Poutsicle Hydrating Lip Stains made it on the list. I really enjoy these. These were a part of my 2022 favorites. The Clarins, their favorite lip oil was the Clarins Comfort Lip Oil. I picked up a shade. It's my first time using one of these. I think they were like the OG too before like the lip oil boom happened. So this will be interesting to see. They also had the Rhode Peptide Lip Treatment, which Rhode does not ship to Canada yet, so couldn't pick that one up. There's a lot of stuff that's exclusive to the States here. They also included the Keys Comforting Tinted Lip Balms, which I've had in my office forever, but I've never tried them. I'll give them a swatch today. And lastly, their favorite lip liner was the Merle Norman Cosmetics Lush Lip Liner. I've never heard of that brand either, so this is fun. It's a fun list that introduces me to a bunch of things I didn't know about. I did place an order for these lip liners, but they're still on the way here. They didn't arrive in time, unfortunately, so that will be another time. So I'm just going to line with one of my 2022 favorites and then we'll try out theirs. And I'm going to be using Huda Beauty Pinky Brown. I'm first going to try on one of these Keys Soul Care tinted lip balms. I have the shade Inspiration here. This looks really pretty. Ooh, nice color. Really nice color. Wow. Oh, and that feels very glossy. It's almost like a less intense gloss stick. Gorgeous. Okay, I like that. Now I wanted to try the Clarins Lip Oil. I picked up the shade 08 Strawberry. Ooh. Oh, and it smells good. It smells like strawberries. I wonder if each one smells like what they're named after. Oh my god, that smells so good. Ooh, these are so much more slippery than the Dior ones. I always reference the Dior ones because that was my first hand experience with lip oils. Wow, that is so shiny. This one feels like a true lip oil. Like it feels oily, but it stays put. Wow. Oh my gosh, I love that. This is it. This is it for the day. Wow, I'm so in love with that. It feels so nice and nourishing on the lips, and the smell is nice, the texture is beautiful. I think this might be one of my most favorite things of the day. But we're going to finish off with their favorite setting spray, which was the MAC Fix Plus Stay Over Alcohol-Free Long-Lasting Setting Spray. I really enjoy this one. So I was excited to see this one on the list. This one works really well. It has such a fine mist. Definitely one of the better ones, and I love how it doesn't have alcohol in it. I'm just going to try to set the center of my skin with this Laura Mercier powder. I know this is just for the under eyes, but I need to set the center of my skin. No, that's giving an ashy effect. I'm going to use a different one. This was the closest one to me. It's the Huda Beauty Pound Cake. And here is the finished makeup look. I feel like they did not steer me wrong. I felt very confident going into today's video because they seem to have a lot of similar tastes to mine. Like a majority of the products I already had that I really like, and some I would consider huge favorites of mine. So I knew I was going to align with their other favorites. But I wanted to quickly go through the new products here. So first, for the Westman Atelier foundation, I think I'm going to get along with this very well. It was very pricey. I only needed a little bit and it went a long way. It kind of reminds me of a giant version of the Clé de Peau concealer that I'm completely in love with. I also really like this packaging. It feels really nice and heavy and luxe, so it doesn't feel cheap to the touch. And there's this really intense magnetic closure, and just everything looks really professional and nice. So this is giving me a good first impression. I think it looks stunning on my skin. It hasn't moved or budged, and things layered on top of it beautifully, and I used a lot of things I was already familiar with. So yeah, it's looking good. Next up, for this little product, I made a mistake. This isn't the powder I wanted, nor was it on the list. The Laura Mercier Secret Blurring Powder for the under eyes sucks. I don't like it. I feel like it looks really weird under my eyes. It doesn't do a great job. And I feel like it already had hard pan. Like I feel like I can't really get anything out of here. And usually I like pressed powders like this, but this is different. It feels damp in here. Not wet or damp, but it just feels hydrated. So it doesn't do a good job at really setting or blurring your under eyes. It just kind of makes the concealer move around. I don't know. Not a favorite. Don't like that. Moving on to some of the eye things. I think the only fail for me was this eyeliner pencil, the Kulfi one. I feel as though it doesn't work the way I need it to. It's already fading in my waterline. I keep having to go back and add another layer. I feel like it was a little difficult to blend out as well. It wasn't the worst, it was workable, but there are so many better ones out there. So this is a pass for me. For the Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Shadow Sticks, I'm actually feeling very excited to have these two colors in my collection. I feel like I'm going to use them a lot. It was really fun to build out this eyeshadow look with it, kind of create this base. It was beautiful before I added anything else too, for a very soft glam look. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of use out of these. Shadows built on top of it beautifully. I think it's going to be such a nice product to build dimension with. I see myself using these all the time. For the Tartelette in Bloom palette, I feel very happy that I picked this up again. The shadows are so nice. I love the colors. I love how you get these warm neutrals and these cooler tones. I kind of slept on this palette for years now. It's really nice and it performs really well still. They layer on top of one another beautifully. They have really nice pigmentation. The shimmers are really pretty for everyday. They're not super crazy metallics, but they're very flattering for everyday, and they are very reflective. I'm excited. I'm really excited to have this back. Moving on to the lip products here. So I'm a huge fan of this already. I know I'm going to be slathering this on my mouth constantly. The Clarins lip oil feels so nice. I can't believe I was so resistant all these years on picking one of these up. I know I've received so many comments and questions asking why I have never tried one of these, but yeah, I'm with you. I feel crazy not to have. What was I doing? It smells and feels so good. Wow. And lastly, for the Keys Soul Care for the tinted balms. I don't know, I really like this color, but I did find that it caught my dry patches really well. So we'll see. I'm gonna have to test this out again, but I really enjoyed the shade of Inspiration. They're very sheer, but they're very glossy. I'll have to give them another shot. Feeling iffy about these. And there we have it. That wraps up today's video. I really enjoyed this concept. Let me know if you'd like to see it again in a year's time. I think it was so fun. But that's going to be it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to give it a like. I will link everything I used in the description down below, so feel free to check that out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.